Hello everyone, welcome to GoTarryn TV. I'm Taryn the Traveling Trainer here in Atlanta, Georgia with GoTarryn Personal Training, about to do a very exciting, stimulating episode momentarily. Now, before we bring our guests on today's show, I'd like to ask everyone out there, if you please be so kind as to like this video, leave us a comment, and share it with all of your friends and family out there. Now, momentarily, we're going to definitely be joined by a recurring guest, Haley Helveston, relationship coach, and you've seen her on here several times. We're going to be talking about sexual foods and drinks that may or may not have any correlation, if any, that stimulate one's sex drive and libido and maybe even increase their stamina. And we're also hoping to be joined by Elsie Trawick. We're trying to get her on the call as well, and hopefully she'll be on here because she is going to help us kind of tackle this issue from another lens in terms of the nutritional aspects and the components that are kind of involved with this unique phenomena. So this will be a very interesting episode as the three of us try to come to terms and figure out what is all of this talk in terms of sex drive, food, drinks, relationships, and everything else that's involved with this very interesting topic of discussion. So please stay tuned as we'll have Haley Helveston and hopefully Elsie Trawick here momentarily. And remember, with GoTarryn Personal Training, it's your time, it's your investment, it's your life. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back, everyone. And as you can see side by side, we are joined right now by Haley Helveston in Atlanta. Haley, how are you doing out there today?
Hey, I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Oh, great to always have you. And Haley, as you know, we're also trying to get Elsie Trawick on the line. We're not sure if we're going to have her here today. Hopefully we will. In fact, we just saw that she had responded to our text message before we started. But in any event, either way, how are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Good.
Really excited about this talk.
Oh, I know. So today we're going to talk about, I guess, the topic of discussion with kind of like, foods and drink that stimulate the sex drive, increase libido, increase stamina, right? All of that. And before we chatted, and you had sent me an article about this, I guess it's called like aphrodisiac foods that, are related to sex. So I can't pronounce the Instagram name.
Call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging
like
system.
Elsie, okay, sorry about that interruption.
40478
let's see if we can get that off there.
610 is not available.
Sorry about that, Helly. It looks like
at the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may
like
hang
Elsie's
up or press 1 for more options.
Okay, I'm going to hang up there. Okay, sorry about that. So, Haley, what is her name again from Instagram?
Okay, so her name is Kim Anami, and she's been doing similar work to what I'm doing for probably the past 20 years.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's really all about holistic health, sacred sexuality, empowering men and women.
Oh, okay, very cool, nice. So, and again, like, as we know, you are a relationship coach, and, we definitely have had plenty of chats and talks about, helping people's relationships and in general. Last time we had you on, we went into a little bit more detail. But so today, what did you find from that? I liked her Instagram picture, too, with those different colors of carrots. What was the symbolism with that, and how do foods tie into what we're talking about?
Well, it ties into the fact that, stereotypically they tell us that chocolate and oysters are great aphrodisiacs. But the thing is, what's really good for your health and your sex life is sexual herbs.
Ah, interesting.
So like maca root.
Okay, okay. I think I've heard of some of those others too. Is there yohimbe and horny goatweed and so these herbs, they're natural. So it's not like they're like a synthetic medicine, but they're actually could they be, I guess, considered holistic? So in that case, they'd be healthy to take. Yeah,
definitely. Like maca, I have it. You can I put in my smoothies.
Oh, really?
It kind of tastes weird, but gives you a lot of energy, increases your libido.
Interesting. Okay, yeah. And, I think I've heard of maca. Don't they have like a maca tea as well?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. And so, when people are talking about different foods and drinks that have stimulation, so, for example, like if we were to take the opposite approach, like if we started talking about someone who is depressed and lonely, and especially like if you have like, say, an obese, overweight, either male or female, and they start gorging and eating like chocolate, or they go to a buffet and they eat a lot of food, is it possible that they could be doing that because of something psychologically that they're not getting a sex kind of, fulfillment, so they have to turn to food?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's part of it. I think also it's, when you eat sugar, it's just an increase of dopamine.
Yeah, that's a good correlation here. And as we were talking just now, I think we're actually joined by Elsie on the other line. Elsie, how are you doing out there?
Fine. How are y'all this morning?
Good to see you. So, quick introduction: Elsie Trawick, Haley Helveston, Elsie Trawick.
Hey, Haley. How are you today?
I'm good. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
And we literally, Elsie, we've been recording here and talking. Just this is perfect timing, having you join us here. We're just talking about we're just really scratching the surface right now. Haley actually sent me something. I don't think you saw it, but it was some different carrots that were lined up, and I can't pronounce what it's. Something to do about the healthy, productive diet. Did you see that come across too?
I did.
Oh, okay, yeah, and I can't pronounce the name again. You're gonna have to help me, Haley. Kaminari. I keep messing it up. I'm sorry. But yeah. Elsie, kind of, I guess, just piggybacking on what Haley was just saying, I don't know how much you caught of that there, but she was just mainly saying about the aphrodisiac effects and stimulation that, for example, I'll give you another visual here too, because I don't think I've told you this either, Haley, but there's a client that I have that he would say that he would take raw oysters and then also raw eggs and smear them on his chest. And he was saying that would somehow, I guess, stimulate and help arousal and in other words, kind of his libido was low. So it was like some way of being more healthy than going and getting a testosterone shot. But I don't know. I mean, Elsie, have you run into this and seen any of your clients that you coach in terms of low energy or low testosterone?
I think that's a kind of a natural aging process.
Yeah.
As well as a lot of our high carbohydrate, high refined sugar diet. When people are overweight and have heart problems, diabetes, prediabetes,
right,
high blood pressure, heart disease, all of that plays in to our normal, healthy, functioning body, but also libido. So I think, and also everybody's grandmother had a natural remedy to help. So I'm never shocked or surprised when I hear people talk about, well, I do this, that, or the other. But I think we have to understand our bodies first and foremost. Go to your doctor, get your preventive screenings, know what's going on with your body. Know and understand if you've got high blood pressure. That is a symptom, not an actual disease. It is a symptom. If you've got high cholesterol, high triglycerides, those are symptoms.
Okay.
Other things going on in your body, that your body is not functioning on all cylinders. So it's worthwhile, instead of just saying, what pill can I take to treat the symptom, do the deeper dive and try to figure out what's going on with your body so that you can treat the actual situation, which may ultimately help your libido because you feel better, because you're not having to take. And the side effects of medication today are incredible. And the list is as long, the handouts they give you with medications today have a lot of technical terms, and they're long and they're involved. So I think understanding what's going on with your body and where you are in your life. Also stress. Stress is a huge
absolutely
on our sex drive and our desire to have sex, but also our capability to have sex. If you're in chronic stress, and that's not healthy, and stress can take a toll. If you're not sleeping, there are other things that do affect our bodies as a whole that we need to address. So I really recommend that anyone who's suffering from this get checked out, know what's going on with your body, because our bodies change. We're living beings. Nothing is static. Nothing stays the same in our lives. each day brings new challenges, new changes, some good, some not so good, and we process all that information. So we are in constant state of evolving and changing, and that has effect too. But I will say, as I've gotten older, it's not fun. It's not fun how the changes in men and women's body as they hit certain milestone ages do dramatically affect your sex drive and the feelings and all that are involved in it. And so it's also critically important to understand that our bodies change. But then what do I do about it? Because there's for every problem, there's a solution.
Yeah. So, you would agree with that, Haley, because I remember last time you and I were talking, kind of just touching on what Elsie was just saying there. To recap, we talked about the differences of like guys who come to you and ask about Viagra or Cialis, and you tell them, well, let's go to the source of the problem first, kind of like Elsie said, understand your body. And is that something also, Haley, that what Elsie was just saying in terms of as we age and also with people understanding their body and stress and also figuring out, ways to kind of figure out to get to the solution? What's your thoughts on that when you're kind of, helping out with your patients that you see, Haley?
No, I definitely agree with you. And I also, too, it's like there's so many factors involved. Because nowadays it's like, you could hate your job. You could be in a bad relationship. There's all, like you could be in a sexless marriage, but then all of a sudden you want to have a baby. And so then you have to have sex, So there's all these different factors that play into it.
Yeah. And then Elsie, again, just kind of segueing there, you see that as well in terms of like the folks that you work with, kind of touching what you were saying, like with aging and like you said, it's not fun. And do you see people when they come to you in terms of, they don't want to eat a certain way because they miss their, like you said earlier, carbs and sugars. And so you see some people kind of getting into that circular, conundrum of, well, I guess I'm sexless because I eat bad, but I eat bad because I'm sexless. And they kind of just keep doing that. Is that something that you see, Elsie, with some folks?
Yeah, we can all, that wheel can spin and spin and spin. And everything. And a lot of it is change is hard for people. Change is, especially around food. I've noticed people don't want to give up their food. And I use myself as an example. I was diagnosed with high blood sugar for 3 years. It took me 3 years for it to sink into my head. This is not just a situation. This is a problem. And I need to address it. And I thought I was eating healthy. I thought I had given up. What you think and what you do play into it, but it's really sitting down, going to the doctor, getting those preventative checkups, seeing where your body is, and not saying, "Oh, I'll deal with this later." Deal with it now, and then you can then find a way to deal with it that meets you. And this is not like having to jump off the diving board into the cold, deep end. Take baby steps. Start by not buying the sugary, starchy foods. Changing little by little, crowding out the bad things. So, and begin eating more healthy, because every success will make you want to climb that mountain and tackle it and achieve more success.
Very good.
So, and also exercise plays into it. It makes us feel good. It's a feel good activity. The release of endorphins, the serotonin, all of that, your body and also being intimate with another person makes us feel good. It builds our self-worth. It really it's a feel-good activity, and it's critically important in our world. And a lot of us, we forget about it because we get busy, especially if we're not partnered. Easy to say, you know what, I am really busy right now. I won't focus on that. And we sidestep the issue. And people do that with their health. they think, oh, I'll just have this chocolate chip cookie today. Tomorrow I'll do better. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I think that it's hard. People have to want, they have to understand what's going on with their body. They have to understand physically, psychologically, emotionally, where they are and where they want to be. Their why do I want to change, has to be very important. And I think as coaches, that's our biggest gift to our clients, is helping them find their why, understand it, and make it a priority.
Very well said, Elsie. So, Haley, you could relate to that because it's kind of like Elsie was saying, we can't change people, that's for sure, but you can give them the tools to change. I think we can kind of see that, like Elsie was mentioning, that we could figure out, like she was saying, what is their why, define that why, and how do they attain that. How do you go about that, Haley, with your folks, that you work with, if they're scared of change and they don't want to change? Do you see that too?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, listen, this is why I specifically work with just people one-to-one now, because I was for a while there working with couples, and
right.
This is like a lot of times people, like they're in a sexless marriage for years.
Yep. One
person wants to do something about it. The other person's like, whatever, and doesn't care anymore. And then it's like this painful situation with the roommates, and then they don't do anything about it. And so I can't fix something that both people don't want to work on.
It takes, commitment, doesn't it? And, Elsie, like Haley was just saying, that big word of commitment, it takes both people, to do it if they're in a relationship or even if it's one-on-one, like she was saying. How important is that component of commitment when you're talking with your clients, Elsie?
It's essential, because if they don't to change, I can't do anything.
Right.
They're the ones who we can talk our heads off, our clients, about all kinds of wonderful things. We can supply them with the necessary tools. We can supply them with the necessary affirmations. We can really, but we can't do it for them. They have to step in and own it, and do it.
Absolutely, and they gotta. They want to own it, and they want it too, don't they? I mean, pretty much it's up to them, like you said. Until they reach that realization, there's really no point of any of us helping them, I guess, is it?
Yeah, it's like, why does everybody want to lose that last 5 pounds? We talk to everybody, if I could just get this last 5 pounds. It's like, what's stopping you? Commitment.
Yeah.
Because they've lost 15 pounds, they're back in their skinny jeans, they're not at their goal weight, but it's like, it's only 5 pounds. But then it's like, but that 5 pounds is going to drive them crazy for years, and then they'll tackle it. Or they'll say, look, it's only 5 pounds. I can do it. And they will jump in and they will do it. So, that struggle with ourselves, especially if they've come a long way and made great progress, they really start to see themselves different. But sometimes that nagging little, whatever you want to call it, the monkey on your back, the little devil inside, or the inferiority, this insecurity creeps up, and they kind of retreat back into their old patterns because it feels safe. And that's where we as coaches really need to emphasize their new patterns. And give them that support to, instead of going back to the old way, they rely on their new patterns, their new affirmations, their new way of thinking about themselves. And I'm sure with couples or individuals who are struggling with their intimate relationships, that would be, it's critical.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like you agree, Haley, in terms of what she was saying, like setting those patterns and then figuring out, getting to the root of it and trying to just see what's behind the curtain, so to speak.
Yeah, definitely. And I also think, too, with what I'm discussing, I'm learning. And I'm meeting women in their 30s. That I interviewed this lady last night on my YouTube channel. Who was 30 when she had her first orgasm.
Oh.
So I'm meeting people that it's like, I didn't get any education about this. we were taught that masturbation's bad, so I didn't do it. And then you get busy, and then you date someone, and she was saying, she just said, my needs don't matter, don't worry about it. Well, that actually resentment builds up. Because then your needs actually do matter, you know? Yeah. And so I think for me, what I'm discussing is it's so important to get rid of the shame and guilt of the topic, and let's just talk about it openly.
Yeah. And why is that, Elsie? Like, do you find, like, it's so taboo, like Haley was saying, that some people just don't want to talk about it? Do you think it's just the society, or it's because we live in America, or do you think...
I think it's our going back to our I think it goes all the way back to our Puritan background, where people were covered up from head to toe, and there was such a taboo around being free. Yeah. I mean, we can learn a lot from Indigenous and Native peoples about the freedom of understanding, knowing your body, and being proud of it. You know, it's like, I think one reason why yoga and mindfulness are so popular right now, because people want happiness. They want to feel comfortable. And now it's okay to go out there, and all these yoga classes that tackle detailed issues are just amazing to me. And I think it's so critical, because it's the practice of something that's opening, like doing hip openers, doing chest opening. I mean, for me, doing Pilates and no longer slumping and curving in, but standing up and opening up, it does make us feel better. It has a psychological effect on it too. But I think it goes back to the founding of this country, why we're so afraid of talking about it. Yet then everybody goes to on-site porn, websites for porn. They're not doing it in their bedroom, but they got to get it somewhere. It's such a juxtaposition that's kind of scary in some ways. People need to be able to talk about it in their relationship, and I hope that that's getting better. And I think having coaches who help people understand their intimate needs and their relationships builds self-confidence, self-worth, and understanding. It's like education breeds confidence. And understanding yourself and your needs, it helps us be whole people.
Very, very true. And, what you just touched on there, Elsie, you were saying about, the exercises that people can do. It comes back full circle to fitness. And Haley, last time you and I talked about was the exercises that were taboo that, you talked about with the jade eggs. And, I never even heard of them, and like the Kegel exercises and such. And so, that's something else I guess you could relate to too, right? That some, not only men, but women just don't sometimes want to talk about it, because it kind of goes back to what Elsie was saying, that it's not freeing, and they just are scared maybe of becoming that free-spirited.
Well, yeah, I agree with what you're saying. I mean, we crave to be free and have that, Yeah. And I think I really crave it too. And so I think that it's why we do have the secrecy and porn addiction, all these other problems that people are dealing with. And it's like, if people could just discuss, like, I was really open on the YouTube video last night. We just openly discussed, like, all these women that aren't having orgasms and how it's so common. And I think the more we discuss it, the better it gets.
Yeah, and, like you just mentioned, too, just like Elsie was saying about porn addiction, and let's face it, again, maybe one addiction breeds another, such as food addiction, because you see some morbidly obese people who, and again, I'm sure you both have probably encountered people that have come to you in confidence that might have said, I gorge because that's how I satisfy my sexual addiction, is to just overeat or watch porn, like you both said about the addiction. Elsie, back to you. How about alcohol consumption, which may lead to addiction? Do you ever see there's a correlation there that, how the old saying that some guys need to muster up the confidence, so they need to take a swig of whiskey or whatever to go out on a date, or go there at the clubs and hit on a girl, so they need some alcohol. But is that something that they have to be careful with, not to rely on and be codependent on alcohol?
Oh, I think that's tremendous. Look at every day we're seeing in the news some kind of abuse taking place, and alcohol is always involved.
Right.
You know, there were several cases where the women were passed out. I mean, basically gone, and they were abused by someone, and that's a very scary thing. That to me is very scary, and I think it touches on a nerve of how there are social, social, psychological, or social, whatever we're doing. People have issues and they're not addressing them, or if they are addressing them, maybe they're not getting the help and the support they actually need to find out what's triggering these activities. Why are people drinking to oblivion? What are the, what are we not doing that's causing us to drink so much?
Well, I wouldn't touch on that. I think part of it is the lack of connection and community in our society. I think people.
I agree with you. I think that's huge.
Yeah, and I mentioned the loneliness thing a lot because I see it, and I've personally dealt with it. And I think that it's like just because you're connected here, you're not connected. And so, like even couples, what do you grab the first thing in your morning? The phone.
Sometimes like cell phone addiction or social media addiction sometimes, right?
Yeah,
it's like a fake connection because you're right. We're not engaging with other people physically, truly, and spiritually and emotionally. We're engaging separately.
Very, very interesting. Well, we just scratched the surface in the last 30 minutes here. This has just been fascinating with you both, and I just think that we can continue on. This needs to be a to-be-continued episode because, again, I think we could really dive deep and get a little bit more further and penetrate this further along, so to speak. No pun intended, of course. But, it's interesting that you both, this is just one of my favorite episodes. Every time I interview you both, you just are both excellent and just my favorite guests. You have a lot more in common than we think because, for one, you're also two of my favorite guests at Georgia State that I've helped guest spoken. But another common thread that I didn't realize for both you ladies, that Catherine Marshall actually helped bring us together because that's how I met you, Haley. And also, Elsie, I know that you've worked with Catherine Marshall of Simply Catherine. So I'm surprised that it's taken to this point that you two ladies have never met until now. So I'm so happy to finally bring this together in this episode. And we definitely need to do more of these three-ways together because this is just very fascinating and very, very interesting. So let's do this further along. And I think we definitely need to have you both connect with each other on social media and get each other's contact information because I think, Haley, you could send people to Elsie and vice versa. Elsie, you could probably send people to Haley. And you both can probably work as a team with just kind of like a total package of the services you both provide, So it's interesting. So speaking of which, since we're at the end here, before we finish, I wanted to ask you ladies, go ahead and please provide us your contact information so we can put that up on the screen when we fade to black here momentarily.
Okay, I'm Haley.Helveston on Instagram, and then Your Guide to Love on YouTube. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Haley. And Elsie?
Hi, Elsie Trawick at 404-788-1610. And I work with people who struggle with what to eat.
Yeah, I mean, again, like I said, there we have it. I think both you ladies can really make a good, solid team because, Elsie, you hit the, components of helping people improve their nutritional lifestyle and such, and then Haley with the relationship coaching. I think it'd be a phenomenal package that both of you could provide in helping. So definitely, both of you connect, please, as soon as we finish here, and add each other on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and the rest of them. So that way, I'm so happy we bring this together. Let's do another one of these in the very near future, please.
That would be wonderful.
Yes,
yeah.
definitely.
Perfect. All right. Well, ladies, as we get closer to Thanksgiving, enjoy the rest of your Veterans Day weekend holiday and celebration and such. Here we go into the holiday times. I think the next episode we need to do is how to help people avoid this overeating and overindulgence of all the holiday meals and parties that we're about to attend, right?
How to survive the holidays. Maintain, don't gain.
There we go. That can be our next theme for our next video blog together.
Yeah.
Let's do it. We'll get that on the calendar as soon as we sign off here. But all right, ladies. Well, I'll let both of you go. I'm watching the time really closely. And again, enjoy the rest of your weekend. This was a lot of fun. And again, we're going to have your contact information respectively on the screen.
I'd love to have a conversation with you soon. So
Okay,
I'll send you, let me know. I'll just send you a text and say what dates you have available.
Okay, sounds great.
Great. Y'all have a great day.
You too. Thank you, ladies.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.